right. Coffee. You know who made this?
Me.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Well, we're creating a podcast.
A long time in the making, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is episode 1 right here. It's monumental.
Correct.
It's probably going to be a really good podcast. It's probably going to get a lot of traction. This is the first episode.
Definitely going to be.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be. Not probably.
Yeah, it's beyond manifesting at this point.
Mm-hmm. Let's speak it like it already exists.
Yeah. I just can be in the present moment and know like this is a monumental moment. This is episode 1. By the time people go back or we go back to look at this episode, we'll be like, wow, we were doing it in the little office with your phone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see. So, you are my wife. I am your husband. Because maybe some people are like, hey, you got to check out this podcast. They don't know anything about us.
Right.
I know when I met you and then started dating, even before we started falling in love, I was like, we would have conversations. And I was like, it's unfair that I'm the only we're the only people that get to receive the information in this that's the kind of conversations we have still to this day. We've been married.
You got this.
2 years.
Correct. Yes.
We've been together for 5, right?
Yep. Well, almost 5.
Almost 5. And
because
we started.
When's our anniversary?
Oh, wedding or marriage anniversary. We have fucking 8 anniversaries.
That's okay.
A problem. It's November 2nd.
November 3rd.
November 3rd. Like
when we got married.
Yes.
But our anniversary of being together.
April 8th.
Is April 8th. And
yes.
April 8th will make 5 years.
Which is in almost a week. Over a week.
Yep.
We've been together that long. But even when we started, we've
known each other for 8.5 years.
Yes. There was a magic between us, but like a magic that I was like, man, we have something special that should be shared. Not that I want a fucking reality TV show or anything. Mm-hmm. It's just, and to this day, I'm like, we just said something the other day where I was like, man, that would be great if this was on the podcast. So I think some of the stuff that's going to come out of this podcast that's important is that I think people who know me are going to see me on a deeper level, even within the mental health stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do talk about mental health, of course. It's important. Even this is going to be even deeper than that. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not wearing the hat. I got the regular hood. I don't want, I'm stripping down. Okay, I didn't notice that. I'm going to be as vulnerable as I've ever been in some instances on this podcast. I'm really excited about people to finally see your end and what you provide. Because I know there's people out there, I wish I could know more about it. Well, you're about to. You're about to, because this is going to be a very intimate, important, there's going to be a lot of information here that I think a lot of people don't talk about, but wish they could. And I think a lot of people are going to listen to some of the segments on this podcast and be like, wow, that's stuff we haven't even thought about talking with my husband. Do you know what I'm saying? I do. Yeah. What is it on your end that you'd like to see from this podcast?
So I think what has come up for me specifically more recently, because you've always said that you would like to do something like this with me. You've said that for a while now. And although you are comfortable and familiar being in the light and having a lot of the attention, I am not. So that was something that I definitely had like resistance to or avoided, because it was out of my comfort zone. But recently, what has motivated me even more to want to do this was to do it outside of myself. So not being motivated for something from within, but rather we do have really good conversations and we are addressing really intimate and vulnerable things that people don't talk about openly. And being able to share that so people know they're not alone, so people can feel seen, heard, and understood by us sharing our experiences that can be similar or can feel collective will help people.
That's a good way to put it. It's kind of like almost a responsibility. Like it's not really about us.
Yeah, and I think that's what allows me to do it because, like, again, I was very not wanting to be in the center of attention or in the light. But when it came to my kids, I had a responsibility to like advocate strong for them. So I would do things that I normally wouldn't do for myself, for my children. So I appreciate that because, yes, similar.
Very, very. And for those of you who don't know, you know, and I think you're really coming out of your shell, so to speak. But like, you know, even a lot of times you have, it's not as easy for you to be in public and like I am. I'm very talkative. It's the opposite. And when it comes to your kids, the dragon comes out, and the beautiful dragon of like, I'm here. You stand on your heels. And when I watched that early on, you stand up for your kids. And when it came to mostly the school system, whatever,
right?
You came out, and I was like, damn, that's a powerful human. That's a phoenix. And like, now I know that. I know a lot of parts of you, and we're still learning about parts of each other, right? But like, I also, when I would see that, and when we'd have conversations, you were totally comfortable with me. So I'd see more of the phoenix with you. Yeah. And I was like, and I know early on, I was like, I cannot wait. You need to be on like a stage. I don't mean literally a TED Talk, but something like that. And I felt like that for a long time with you because I feel like you have knowledge and information. I mean, look, and we'll probably get into this at some point, but like what we went through when I had a mental breakdown for a year, people know like you were my rock, right? They can tell. They knew that you stood by me, but there was much more that happened in there where you were like, kind of like my 24/7 therapist, which, you know, isn't maybe the best thing, but there was no other way of saving me.
Right.
Otherwise I was bonkers. So like, you know, there's a lot of layers to you and myself. And so I think this podcast is going to be great. But like you said, it's out of us. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are just, like you said, just going to be like, damn. And then the last part you had brought up, I didn't really think about, was that, you know, you do work, and because you're a parenting practitioner and you do work with a lot of families, right? We'll get into more of that at some point. But like, I know there's still a stigma with the men not wanting to, I mean, you could speak on that because that's where you said, if you want to explain that, that's where you said like my part where I'm very open with being vulnerable and with some of the things that are important, but like some men just have a real hard time with.
Yeah. So, I am a trauma-informed parenting practitioner, and I run a business supporting parents, mostly moms, but a lot of moms, whether, you know, they can be single or they can also be in relationship. And so I do work with couples and dads as well. And certainly, especially like when we were growing up in the 80s and the 90s, there was a lot of expectation or something that, you know, boys who cried were wussies. And this was long before that too, right? So now we're talking about it being in your lineage and all of that stuff, of that, like, men shouldn't have an emotional experience because it makes them less masculine. And so that's something that people carry around with them that isn't theirs, but has been handed down to them through generations. And I think being able for you to be so open and vulnerable, which you are, and also to be a more accepting of your emotional side, right? Your feminine side, because we all have it. Whether you're a woman, you have a masculine and a feminine side, or you're a man, you have a masculine and a feminine side. So we all have it, but you're much more open and accepting of that, which we see the results of that through your Facebook platform, of especially your mental health stuff. It's like you're always waiting for the person to stand up and say, wait a minute, like, I'm having a different experience. And then all of a sudden the domino effect happens where a lot of other people are like, oh, I'm so glad you said that because me too.
Me too.
Right.
Right.
So being able to have you share some vulnerability and some openness from a man that isn't typically what is role modeled, I think could be a huge benefit for the men who are in the lives of the women that I support.
Yeah. It made me think of something, and this might be like one not sure how they'll sound to you, but to men will understand. I want, as you've told me that, I want men to know, like, you can be a tough motherfucker and cry and be vulnerable and sensitive also. Like, you can have both of them. What's something you've taught me lately that you've said all the time is that you can be angry
and kind
mm-hmm. at the same time, which is something I never even made sense, but you can.
Absolutely.
For instance, I can get upset, especially lately. This is something we're dealing with. I get upset. And the one thing I'm learning to do, which can be difficult, is go, I'm fucking annoyed right now at this conversation, but I love you. It has nothing to do with you. I love you, but I'm fucking pissed off. I'm going to go in the other room. That's something that feels so powerful. I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. That's something we learned in therapy, and also like something you're like, if we go to therapy, you and the therapist are basically like working on me. I mean, it's like you guys, because you are on, in some ways on that level, you know this stuff already. But that's a beautiful thing. And not a lot of people that I see can do that. You know what I mean? It's usually, what the fuck, I'm mad. So you know what? I'm going to project it on you. I've done it. It's been role modeled to me.
Right. I
see it everywhere.
Right.
And what I'm learning to do is it happened yesterday. I'm not going to get too personal, but it happened yesterday. Fucking so stupid as the dish thing.
Right.
We have a sink, small sink, and we don't have much room. And you had bought this little thing that takes up half the sink. Yeah. That you can wash the dishes and put it into a dry. It's actually great.
Like a very skinny dish, like strainer.
Yeah. And so it is great, but I noticed, and a lot of this stuff comes subconsciously, right? So it's really important to, like, whenever you're feeling anything, right? Anything, whether it be something come up and it's familiar, whether it be trigger, anger, sadness, I'm learning to go, what is this? What's going on for me?
Yeah, what's the message?
What's the message?
Trying to tell me?
What's the message?
Yeah.
And last night, I'm like, the message is, I missed my fucking sink. I need my whole sink. This, and I was just a little stressed yesterday, right? So I'm a little short fused yesterday. So any little thing can kind of, and so I'm like, the fuck, dude? Like, in my head, this is what the fuck? Like, I missed my sink. I'm not mad at her. I know that, but I want my fucking sink. And then I'm like trying to take it out. It falls. The dishes are going everywhere. Fuck. Point is, I got into a zone. I was definitely like pissed. And I think normally with people, they can definitely start to bring that on to the other person, right? And I just sat there and I was like, man, I'm fired up over a fucking sink. And so within myself, I had to just, figure that out and come back and kind of just be like, yo, I was pissed. I don't really know where the end of this is going, so I want to strip
I'm
that.
watching. Go ahead.
Wait, let's try to figure it out. All I know is that that's a pattern for me. That's something that happens a lot throughout as I get and then I get really, and then whoever's in my path, I'm kind of like throwing it at them. And who's in my path the most? Help me. Help me help you. It's just a sink. All I'll say, and you can kind of give me your feedback on that, because all I'm going to say is it really had nothing to do with you, the sink. I just noticed that as the older I get, I have irritability that comes up that I have zero patience for. I'm learning to have more patience in my life for things, but I feel like in some aspects, the patience window, like with something like that, gets smaller. And I go from, like, we talk about 0 to 100.
Yeah. So any of my clients who are watching this are going to know that this is the next thing going to come out of my mouth, is that we don't go from 0 to 100. What happens is we stack. And when we miss the messages, we're not noticing the stacking. So all of a sudden it feels like we're at 0 and then we're at 100 because we missed 20%, we missed 30%, we missed 40%, we missed 60%. Those are the messages.
So in that example, can you help me? Because I know, like, I was a little stressed out. I come home And what
so you were already stacked.
Yeah. And the sink thing had already bothered me.
Right. So,
but I didn't deal with it.
Right.
I just kept letting it stack.
So, right. So the thing,
I would be like, fuck it,
no.
smash a plate over my
head.
The
sink thing was stacking on its own as its own entity, right? But then you were already stressed from the day when you came home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You were already annoyed and stressed from the day when you came home. So then you take that stacking, which is it's already stacked in itself.
Double stacked, as you'd say.
So that makes sense.
But seriously, that's right. So do you think that like the fix for that or to prevent that?
Okay, so so sorry.
Shoot.
So it's not about fixing or necessarily preventing. Sometimes it's about riding the emotional wave of it being frustrating, right? So like the goal isn't, we often so desperately want to stop, fix, end it. But that's unrealistic because we're emotional creatures. We're going to have an emotional experience. So you being frustrated is okay.
Don't you wink at me, girl.
It's okay. It's learning how to ride the wave. And the more you learn how to ride the wave, right? Just like flying, the goal would be is that it's not so terrifying, that the more you do it, the repetition, the muscle memory, you learn that you're going to come up, but you're also going to go back down. And so it doesn't have to be this overwhelming experience that we resist to. So that's one of the first things that comes up. But as far as like trying to be proactive about it is name it to tame it. So like being able to identify.
I'm pissed in my sink right now.
No.
That's...
No. But just being able to like name your experience. So a lot of times for me, it's like, I feel annoyed. Not my sink is annoying me. Not my wife is annoying me.
That identifier could ruin everything.
Right. But just, let's even explore that for a second. If your sink is annoying you, you're still annoyed.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
And so you have to bring it back to yourself. Because otherwise, anything like a sink could absolutely alter your day.
Good point. And I think by nature, most of us.
Well, that's what we're role modeled.
Because that's what is to go, I'm angry. What do we blame?
Right. Because
sink.
That's the easiest thing to do, which is why it happens so fast. And this has been going on for years and years and years and years and years and generations and generations and generations of, I blame you for how I feel. Because if I take responsibility for how I feel, I have to do the work and be responsible for
That's too overwhelming to most of us. That's a good point. I just had something and it's wicked important.
Okay.
We're going to hang here in awkward, uncomfortable silence.
Not for me.
It is for me.
Okay.
I have a problem with silence.
I know.
It's another thing I'm getting better at.
Okay, so go find your thought.
But now I'm nervous about the silence and it's hard for me to find what I was talking about. Shut up. Let me take a sip. That'll help. Nice. Oh, got it. Ooh, I found it.
Yeah.
Search through the brain. Very important one that I've learned that is great for relationships. And I mean any relationship, any friendship. And I've gotten a lot better, especially over the past few months with you. When you are upset, struggling, nervous, scared, quiet, no matter what it is, my first instinct, since I've been a little kid, is to fix. A lot of parents are like this, right? I want to fix. It happens to my friends all the time. A friend comes up to me and they're complaining. All I'm trying to do, like they're in the nervous system, they're upset about something that happened, right? All I want to do is talk them off the ledge and give them avenues to make them feel better. And what I've learned being with you is that is not most of the time what a person needs. Sometimes
that's what you need because it's too uncomfortable for you to be in that state.
That's one piece of it. Yep. However, I do just want them to feel better. And I know you're going to come back to it because it makes me feel, regardless, I don't want to go that deep yet. Because I know a lot of guys can probably do this with their woman or with their friends. What I've learned to do is go, okay, my friend, my partner, whatever. I'm going to use my friend because I don't want it to make it seem like it's just your partner. I have a friend who gets fucking 0 to 100 real fast. Mm-hmm. And he is overwhelmed with stress to the point where like he realizes he has to make an appointment at the registry rather than just go in. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. So within a few seconds, he's like, I hate this country. I'm moving. It's like unbelievable. But the kid's he's got a lot that builds up quick. What I used to do was be like, okay, man, listen, and like talk him through it. Like, hey, you can do this just to ease him because I hate to see him like that.
Mm-hmm.
What I've learned to do is not do that. And yes, it's uncomfortable. And I just let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do, maybe I'll ask, maybe I won't. But what I'm really looking for is, what does he need in this moment? And a lot of times he just needs to fucking flip out like that and vent without me helping. Sometimes people just need, like, there's times when you are hurting or struggling, and you just need to struggle in that moment. And I just need to provide a safe space for you to do that, right? Rather than say, well, we could do this, we could do that.
Right. Well, there's a time and place for problem solving, and it is not when somebody's dysregulated, because their brain is not online. They do not have the ability to connect to the part of the brain that's responsible for problem solving. So a lot of the time people, they could just need to be heard. They could just need to be validated, and likely they just need to be co-regulated with before you can offer that, because that is a critical piece, trying to help people problem solve so they can become accountable and responsible, and also like find solutions to challenges.
I guess because for me, whenever I was really, really nervous, which I dealt with horrific bad problems with anxiety for most of my life. I mean, bad anxiety. What I would do is I'd be really nervous, really dysregulated, and I would find paths to go, oh, what's the worst case scenario? That's why I do a lot of worst case scenario now still. That's what I needed, to find solutions to calm me down.
Right.
But that's not what everybody needs most of the time. Or like you said, who's, especially when someone's dysregulated or like can appear to be out of control, they're not going to receive any positive messages nor do anything with it.
Well, yeah, not even a positive message. They're not making logical choices.
Right. Yeah. And so I guess I'm happy to have learned the gift of kind of just going, all right, let me see what this person needs. Let them flip out, get angry, shut down, whatever. And then if the time is right, go, all right, man, like, I hear you, bro. First, I'll do that. You know, I hear you. America is fucking crazy. Yeah. And more or less, he'll guide me to know what he needs.
Well, more or less, you're allowing him to figure it out. So, and you're actually guiding by holding space.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
allowing him to figure out what his path and process is to really get to the root of whatever it is. So there can be more regulation to get back online to then problem solve.
Because he said to me in a moment once, and this is where I really like popped in my head. We were already working with that, and he was looking at me like, dude. He didn't say these words, but he was like, "Don't give me solutions, guy. Just let me fucking freak out."
Yeah.
In a way, he said, I don't know what, but I was like, oh yeah. Like he actually was, and I appreciate him for that. You know what I mean? He was kind of in a way just saying, "Joe, just let me vent." And I was like, beautiful. I can do that, and it's easier to do that.
Yeah, so a lot of the work that I do is actually less is more. It can feel like it's more work in the beginning because it's unfamiliar. It's not something you're used to doing, but it turns out to be less is more. And I definitely think like I have a handful of women who I have really strong connections with. And the few of them that I do, when we're upset, a lot of times will ask, what do you need? Do you need to problem solve? Do you need to just be listened to? Do you need to validate? Do you need us to rally around you? Like that's always been a super helpful thing in my friendships for the women that I'm connected to of checking in first.
Asking permission.
The power of permission.
Yeah. And I noticed I've done that with people a lot. As they'd start talking about something, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Dude, you didn't even ask permission if they want suggestions, bro.
Right. The power of permission is huge because often without asking for permission, it moves somebody into defense. You've crossed a boundary. And the power of permission can be huge because it's a beautiful gift because you give the other person who you've asked permission for an opportunity to establish where they're at and what they need. So this way you're not crossing a boundary and then feel resentment because you're just trying to offer help. If that's not help that is well received or that they're needing, then why not pivot?
Wow. So asking permission not only does that, but makes you become the guide for them finding out what where they're at.
Right. Like I've had somebody ask me if it was okay if they shared like their perspective with me. And as uncomfortable it was, I said no. I didn't want to hear what their point was. So had they had shared that with me, I would have been annoyed.
And that,
I would have been
further deep into your shit.
More dysregulated. It would have validated that in that experience, it wasn't about me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so her asking me for permission to share something and it was uncomfortable, and me saying, no, I don't want that, was really empowering for me, you know, because it allowed me to recognize that that wasn't helpful. I had the space and I also felt respected by her.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like what a way to lead both of you to where you need to be in that conversation or where that person needs to be by asking permission, which is maybe it goes against your instinct, right? Maybe some people's instinct, but man, that can lead the person to, I know for me, I would just go, you know, what the fuck do I need? That might be just what I need is to go, you know what? I just need to vent, or you know what? I do need to figure out why I keep feeling like this or whatever.
Yeah, but when you ask somebody permission, it just lands differently in your nervous system. You know what I mean? Whereas like some people offer unsolicited advice and that does not go over well.
Sorry, I'm going to check if it's still recording. I want to make sure it's our first one. She's going 30 minutes in.
Yeah. You know, some people offer unsolicited advice and that can do more damage than good, even if the intention is well, which can create resentment and frustration in that of like, I'm just trying to help, but that wasn't helpful for that person.
Yeah.
So
how often do
avoiding that?
Not us, but how often do like people in relationships say, I'm just trying to help?
All the time.
It's because you didn't ask permission to see what the other person needed in that moment.
Yeah, the power of permission. It has a lot of beautiful purposes.
Yeah. So tonight, instead of me ripping your clothes off,
I knew you were going to do this.
I'm going to ask permission.
Okay.
Would you take your pants off? To which you'll say,
I'm not going to say anything. I'll just hand you my foot so you can rip them off.
Oh, okay. That works. Okay. The power of permission. Yeah. All right. This was great. Can we, I would like to, since this is the first episode, let's start from the ground up.
Yeah.
I want to share a little bit about my childhood that I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, right? We're not going to be, we're stripping stuff down, but we're not, saving stuff for just us.
Yes.
I would like to just kind of explain what most people don't know, how I grew up. And in between, I'd like to go back and forth. Go.
Yeah. So do you want for me to give like a quick minute or so perspective of that for you?
What you think my childhood was?
Yeah.
Well, you know a lot.
I know.
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
Well, we talked about this.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. I didn't know we were going to do that from the child perspective, but go.
Okay.
Which is fine. I want to, yes, tell me what you think. Yeah, go.
Okay.
Your perspective.
So my perspective is that you were a unexpected.
You already know these facts.
I know. I'm sharing.
I was an accident. Thanks for bringing my trauma.
You were an unexpected pregnancy, and originally your name was supposed to be Thomas.
Nope.
Jefferson.
No.
Jefferson.
That's right.
Yes.
I didn't know that up until like.
Yeah. So originally your name was supposed to be Jefferson. And you were.
Did my mom tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot that she told you that because I didn't know that.
She was going to name you Jefferson.
I'm not mad. Jefferson's kind of dope.
No.
Okay. Sorry. Getting sidetracked.
And you grew up as a only child, no brothers, no sisters, as a sweet white American little boy. You had the blonde hair and the blue eyes, and you were an only child. And you were also very naive growing up and very emotional and very sensitive, which definitely comes from your dad. You were very social, as you still are, a social butterfly. And you were very active, a little clumsy, but very active. And being a part of things and being included in things was important to you, like basketball, your friends group, being popular, all of those things. You felt very misunderstood for most of your life. Yeah, I think that's
a lot of stuff you nailed for sure.
Yeah. And also through some of your childhood experiences and circumstances, you were very resistant or closed off to deeper things, even though it's something that you do that is like a part of you.
You mean as a young kid I was
just like, yeah, so like I know like that's how we connected, right? Of like wanting to go deeper, but there was definitely like resistance to being allowed to go too deep with people, letting them in because of circumstances in your life.
I don't know what you mean by that. Everything else you nailed. That one I'm a little confused about.
Not wanting to build a wall to protect yourself so nobody else gets to invade your space.
As I grew up?
Yes.
Like in my 20s? 50s?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah. And, like, so protecting yourself from relationships.
Yeah.
Right? Well, getting too close to anybody, even though there's this natural...
Oh, yeah. I was still thinking about me as a little boy, so yes.
Being deep.
Well, that
was my timeline.
That was... Yeah, you nailed a lot. I was...
So from your perspective,
I'm going to tell you. So things I say I still am, which is interesting. Because the stuff when I grew up as a little boy is just stuff at my core. I always was a sensitive, timid little guy, and I just think that's part of who I am. I don't know where that comes from, but I was always more timid, more nervous than the average kid. That I noticed. I always felt very different. It's one thing. For as long as I can remember, I just always felt different, man. And I think most of us do when we're real little because we're trying to fit in, you know what I mean? But for some reason that carried on a while. I just always felt different, not necessarily bad. I don't really know how to elaborate on that, but I've always felt just a little different than like the pack. And I would say that I was an only child, so I found a lot of safety growing up when shit wasn't going well within my zone. Nobody there. That carried on into my young teens and then into my 20s, which is why I like living alone. I like being alone. And if you want to date me, makes me nervous. That's why I didn't have any serious... I had a few, like, two, like, kind of serious relationships, but they weren't working because I was just always... I was just uncomfortable in people in my space because I played all day long in my space when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I was 8 years old and I had a whole world in the living room that I had created in my mind. All you needed was a basketball hoop. My dad had a basketball hoop, like a little plastic one. That's all I needed. The rest was there. The crowd was there. I knew what team I was on. I knew who was on my team. I mean, it was incredible how much my, your imagination was like flourishing as I was growing up. And I think it became unhealthy because like I'd stay in that living room for 8 hours and play basketball games and I knew who was winning. This is all in my mind. It's just me. And I think that became such a zone of safety that's why. And luckily, I didn't really think I'd take a chance with you. I met you and when I really started to, we had that one conversation once that was just deep and I just remember getting off the phone and saying, I need this person in my life. That's why like being with you, asking you to move in, marrying you was never like, I was never really worried. It just, I don't know, I could be that same person with you in the same room. I didn't feel like that with many people. So I will say I was a nervous, sensitive little guy amongst other things. Now you're an interesting case. you were a little girl that was very misunderstood as well. I think you had trouble communicating certain needs because you were a little girl. You know what I mean? I think that you just I think that you needed to be loved the way you needed to be loved, and I think it was. I think you've always been trying to find that since you're a little kid, and I think all of us are kind of like that. But for you, I just think I know that you wanted to be a mom and a wife since you were a little kid, and you did it for most of your life. You're still doing it, and I think that you have some quirks that are hard to figure out unless someone on the other side is really patient with you and understanding. I think some of the things that you need may come off to other people as like, oh, there's always something wrong, or there's always, I don't know what they say, but I think it's misunderstood what your needs are. And I think to you, your needs are very simple. And I think you've had a lot of trouble having certain people give you those needs. And that's why I'm here to give you them all. And I think you're a very cozy young little lady who finds pleasure in just finally settling down on the couch with relaxing energy and being comfortable in and being so grounded, more grounded than anybody I know, of being grounded in your couch, in your chair, feet in the grass, and really understanding the beauty. I think that you can suck the energy from the world, from the sun and like the earth better than anybody. You know what I mean? And I know you can sit in the sun and I can see you beyond just like the sun hitting your skin. There's something, you're connected to the universe. I think a little more than most people, definitely more than me. And I strive to get there. Mm. You know what I mean? I remember when I wasn't well and you walked with me and we did the grounding thing where you were just like, and I was trying to do what you did and it was bothering me because I couldn't be there. I couldn't, when I'm really not doing well, I can see the grass and I can see the trees and I can see the sky, and I'm in a bubble of my own shit. And you're somebody who's always been a little more connected to the world than most, is how I would say it. And that's it. Okay. That is all. I will stop speaking.
So I guess for me, I also was a very shy, nervous, timid kid, more than typical. Mm. I was the middle child. So there's that. I was definitely a more cozy girl, although that was often labeled as like lazy. Mm. I was very low energy. I was labeled as failure to thrive. So talk about self-fulfilling prophecies. Yeah, I was very misunderstood. A lot of me growing up I was labeled as lazy, shy, dramatic, whiny, sensitive, all of those things. And honestly, I really needed a lot of like nurturing. I needed a lot of reassurance and a lot of like nurturing. Nobody's fault, but I didn't get that to the level that I needed it. And so those things stood with me, growing up. I was skinny, I was tiny, and I was quiet. Not a good recipe for building self-esteem. So there was that. Never really liking myself, never really sure where I fit in, dealing with a lot of rejection and abandonment, which led me to some very unhealthy relationships. I 100% wanted to be a mom and a caretaker for sure. I loved being in that role, and looking back now, probably because I needed it so desperately. So it was no surprise at the core that I turned up 17 and pregnant. Yeah. And then I was in a lot of really unhealthy situations because I didn't have the right supports and resources in place while trying to navigate raising a daughter and becoming the mom that I wanted to be, but not the mom that I was because I didn't know how to be, and then learning how to be and undoing all of the things that were not supportive, which was exhausting and lonely, while still being young. I moved out right after I turned 18, and I was on my own navigating the world for the most part by myself, very isolated in really unhealthy relationships.
It's crazy because you're such a different version of yourself now. At least I think people who do know you and myself, it's almost hard to believe that you were just a much downgraded version of yourself.
Yeah, well, that's part of growing and evolving. Is
I know,
when we're supposed to, supposed to evolve.
I want to be clear. It's just because at least I see you in certain.
Yeah,
eyes. Well, I see you as a much updated version. It's like you went from an iPhone 8 and all of a sudden you went to a 15.
Well, that's because when I met you, I was 32. I just turned 32 in May. I met you in September. So only a few months after that. And 32 was a very pivotal year for me of deciding that 31, 32, of deciding that I was going to start breaking out of the patterns. That I had already done the work, but I didn't know I had done it yet, hindsight. But so when I met you, I was really at the beginning of starting to step into my power. It was almost like I had done all this work to build me up to 31, 32, and 32 was like where I was finally, all that work had put me in a position to start stepping into my power, is when I met you. And then even like the last 3 years, just in the last 3 years.
I've watched it from afar. It's,
So yeah, that makes sense. It's definitely a little uncomfortable for me to look back at those versions of myself because I feel a lot thinking about that. But yeah, so that's my childhood and growing up in a quick nutshell.
Yeah.
To us getting together.
Yeah, and I'll lead up to us getting together. I'm sure there's more things. We don't want to bore everyone with all the things for me and you going, but I'll say the one thing that I know a lot of people know of mine, that's my strength, is my comedy, right? I think this is an important thing to know, that my comedy really comes from insecurity of trying to fit in when I was in 3rd grade.
Right.
I met Joe, my best friend, for how long now? In 2nd grade. And I'll never forget, he was drinking coffee milk, and Joe was the most quiet, well-raised, what's the word? When you're a polite person in the world. Kid probably got all A's, never spoke, never got out of, he's just a very good, well-mannered young kid. And I was just fucking all over the place. And I was break time in 2nd grade, Miss McGlynn's class. It's break time, snack time. He's having a coffee milk. And I went over to him and just started saying the dumbest shit. I don't know what I was saying. This fucking kid laughed at everything I said. And I was like, he's going to be my friend. I didn't know at the time, but there was a security there. It felt so good to be important to someone enough for them to laugh. Because there's nothing like a laugh. It's one thing about comedy. When it's such a beautiful emotion, as the opposite of crying. You know what I mean? You can watch someone, you first meet them, and you say a couple of jokes, you watch their walls just fall right down. Oh, this kid's funny. And they laugh and they go, there's a trust thing there. There's so many elements to when someone laughs. I was addicted to it. And I found out real quick, I would have done anything to make people laugh. And I did. I made fun of other people to make someone laugh bad. And I did that throughout like middle school. Point I'm trying to make is that carried on. I was really good at comedy. I got really good. I got quick. I had been practicing it since second grade because it was so important. And obviously I did comedy shows, right? We did videos and all that stuff. I never really got huge with it. But point is, I started to realize like probably around the time I met you and we started getting deep conversations, I was realizing that like comedy was more of a tool for me. I'd rather be on stage and like connect with people and get them to think differently and get them to be the better versions of themselves than make them laugh. Which is kind of interesting because I still do videos to make people laugh. And I don't know if it's just because of it's been ingrained in me for so long. I don't know. Because the thought of not wanting to, I love to be funny, but not all the time. Like most of the day, I'm not. I'm business. I'm thinking about my family, thinking about making money. But at any time I can turn on. So I don't really know. That's something I got to figure out. But I know where it came from. Like I said, it came from a place of insecurity and acceptance. Yeah. Even now, I'm not going to lie. I do like to be able to speak to people and watch their walls go down and go, oh, this kid's cool. This guy's funny. There's something there. And I don't know if it's just for me. At this point, I think I like watching people like push their walls down. And I just feel like so many people nowadays have a wall up, have a bunch of them. And like to really have a good conversation with them, you got to be like, all right, strip this wall away. You know what I mean? Strip this bullshit. Stop being insecure. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like I go throughout life and talk to people with just a screen door. You know what I mean? Not much. And I just think that's where the beauty is being as honest and as uncomfortable and as awkward as you are makes the other person feel okay with it, them doing it themselves. Does that make sense?
It does, but on your terms, and I think your terms is comedy.
Right. Yeah. You're right. That's my tool to get there.
Right. So I think you can show up in that way, in that element. Because I've always heard you say that, right? Of like, be uncomfortable, being uncomfortable.
Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right. But in that element, you're really good at it, but not always.
What do you mean?
Sorry.
No, I want to know.
I had like, a connection was made for me when you were talking.
Beautiful. Can you?
Yeah. So I just like hearing you say that of like wanting to be raw and wanting to be awkward and like wanting to be uncomfortable and being able to do that is really motivating for you in that through comedy, right? Like that's the outlet where you can tap into that.
Comedy being
what I'm saying?
Comedy being the outlet that I can tap into
that stuff. But that's not always available. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I made that connection when you said that. Because I've always heard you say that, right? Especially when you're like, I've heard you say that on your videos on Facebook, like from way back in the day when we were just friends and stuff. So I know it's there and I know it's accessible and I know you like it, but I don't know, what I just heard you say was you can do that through comedy. Like that's your outlet to do that.
It is. Now, what would you explain? Because when I do the videos, people still come up to me years ago, that video you did on depression, that video you did, those videos, I'm not using comedy.
Yeah. And that's why I know. And that's why I said like, also in those other platforms, like the mental health video, I think probably because you're taking on a role, if I had to guess, you're facilitating something, you're offering something, you're presenting, performing, if you will. But when we're not doing that and it's like a mundane thing in the daily life, I think it's harder. It's not as accessible. For
the comedy?
To tap into that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot easier for you to tap into the raw, the vulnerable things when you're in the role. in
Oh
performing.
yeah, of course. That there's a nice easy bridge with no traffic on it for that.
Right.
So
I just,
yeah,
when you said that, it made a connection for me.
interesting. Yeah.
Does it for you?
A little bit, not as much as you.
Okay, that's okay.
But it made me think about. See, when I do the videos of mental health, it started because I wanted to feel less alone. I mean, but it created this thing where people, it was a Me Too thing.
Right. And that's why I'm saying I think it's more accessible is because you're good in that leadership role.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're good in that performance.
For whatever reason, when the eyes are on me,
yes,
I'm like, good, here we go. Like,
right. And I'm
it's a
the
motivator.
opposite of that.
Yes.
Whereas like I am good privately being able to take in, reflect, work on, you know what I mean?
We're breaking you out of that.
I know.
Which is beautiful.
I know.
Because the leadership role, honey, that role is where people are going to be, the more people are going to be able to.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? That's why
I get it. I have trauma with being
in the spotlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's all.
I think a lot of people do, but I get it. Yeah. And that's why I'm trying to break you out. You know what I mean?
So do you want to share about how we got together?
Yes.
Because we're just like 55 minutes.
Yeah. We got another 30.
Yeah.
Let me see where we're at. I won't do this every other podcast, but the first one, we're at 55. This is great.
I just said 55. That's pretty good.
54. 54 minutes.
Okay. So do you want to talk about how we got together?
Yeah. Plenty of fish.
No.
Plenty of fish was the first time I ever saw your face.
Okay.
Swear to God. And the blue eyes, I was like, ooh, I'd definitely smash.
Yeah. And I remember.
And then I got nothing back, I don't think.
No, you definitely didn't message me.
Oh, maybe I didn't message you.
No, you definitely didn't message me. I'm pretty sure I messaged you, and I didn't realize it was you on POF.
This would be great. People want to know how we get. No, I'm just gonna pull up Can I pull up the first message ever?
Oh, between me and you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. But I was gonna say I didn't realize it was you on POF because I remember looking at you on POF and being like, well, how damn and thinking you were out of my league. Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't until I saw you on Facebook.
I'm pulling up the message.
And
it'll take me a while, so go ahead.
I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah? Well, what was the
wow, he's handsome.
Didn't you see the Facebook video? Isn't that what it was?
Well, so I had been following you and was like, whatever. And I remember telling my friend at that time, like, oh, I'm going to date him. For sure. And I followed you on Facebook and I saw the video that you had posted about if you like a girl, how to go back in her profile pictures and like all her pictures. You want to go far back enough to make it look like you care, but not too far back that you look like a creep.
Yes.
Right.
Very calculated.
Yes. So I friend requested you and you accepted. And like shortly after, 3 pictures. You went back.
I was sitting at the house.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah. You went back and you like 3 pictures, and I was like, game on, motherfucker.
And here we are.
Yes. Game on. And I immediately reached out to you first.
I was like, thirsty girls, come on in.
Because I knew the video. So I knew I had a chance.
Yeah, and I was like, okay,
that was your way to say you have a chance.
I was like, she saw the video, she did what she was supposed to. Oh, she a thirsty girl, got the lemonade.
No. So I messaged you and I said, all right, you got the lemonade. That sounds like pee. So I was like, I messaged you and I said, you like 3 of my pictures. Now what?
What'd I say?
And you said, let's have sex.
And
I said, okay.
I was like, that was easy.
Yeah. Yep. And that was pretty much it. And so interesting. So then you immediately wanted to take it off of Facebook Messenger and move it over to Snapchat.
Sounds like me.
Yep. So we did.
You said, okay.
And we shared some snaps with each other. And within a week, we were like, I was like, all right, let's meet in person. And we did. You gave me your address, told me that on the days you work from home, and gave me your address, and I was going to come meet you. And I remember I was very calculated in my outfit because I know you didn't like heels, I know you didn't like bras, and I know you didn't like makeup. So I wore like the lightest amount of makeup I could that made me feel pretty. And I wore flat sandals, and I made sure to have my toes out.
I remember.
Because I sent you a picture of my pink toes, and you really, really like them because you have a thing for feet.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to make sure my assets were out.
They were.
And I went over to your house, and I remember asking you what you were wearing, and you said basketball shorts, and I said, me too. And you were like, I LOL'd at that. I have it all in my memory. And I went to your house, and you had meatballs in your crock pot.
I was cooking.
And we talked forever. And you just hugged me and like gave me like a peck on the lips.
We didn't do anything sexual.
Nothing. For quite some time, actually.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh shit, she got more than just that, because I had done what you just said with a lot of women up to that point, and you meet all sorts of creatures, so it is what it is. But I was like, oh, I could actually, like, this is a regular normal human that I can actually have like good conversation with. She seems cool, she's cute, and I didn't allow myself to get any further. But I was like, oh, she's cool. I could definitely like see myself hanging with her more than once. Put it that way.
Yeah, and we did. We hung out. We hung out a couple times, and we just shot the shit. We didn't hook up or anything. And
I was cool with that too. Like, I wasn't like, oh man, when are we gonna? That never really.
Yeah.
I was totally like, I would say satisfied with those exchanges.
And then one night we had been drinking. I don't exactly remember what the circumstances were, but I ended up at your house. And we hooked up, and I slept over, which I know was like a big no-no for you.
Yeah, for the most part, I did not like that.
Yeah.
I did not like that.
Yep, and I slept over, and I remember when we woke up in the morning, you were like, damn, I could sleep with you. You sleep like you're dead.
That's right. I remember that. Yes.
I didn't move at all.
At all. Yeah, I actually thought you were dead. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I remember, again, I never slept in the same bed with a girl. Like, this was my zone since I was a little kid. And so no matter what, when someone was in my space, even if they were cool, it was uncomfortable. It was something I was like, I'd always, even if a girl did sleep over, which was rare, I'd be like, all right, I just kind of can't wait till she leaves, because and it would get worse and worse. I just wanted her back to my zone. And I didn't feel like that with you ever. I was like, oh shit, yeah, she's cool. And even when I don't know, because it was never like, oh, I wonder what she's thinking. Is she going to want to sleep? You were just we had a very good connection. So I felt comfortable to be like, can you just go home? Because I want to be by myself. And I feel like you would have been, sure.
Yeah.
And so with that, there was no
But
pressure.
I never got there because I knew. So I was up and out in the morning. Like, my whole goal was to cater to what your needs were, which was not to have a clingy, overbearing woman. So like most of the time, I never reached out to you ever. I never hit you up. And actually, I do remember a few times in the beginning when we first met, you would like address that at some point. You were like, oh, you can hit me up if you want to too. And I was like, oh, no, motherfucker.
I didn't know you were
coming for me. Yeah. Yeah. But I do remember that a few times in the beginning, you saying to me, you hit me up, and I want it.
I said that because you were one of the few. I don't remember anybody else really doing it the way you. I mean, you held out for years, literally. What would happen most of the time is I would meet someone, we'd hook up, whatever, and then it was the good morning text.
Oh yeah, I never.
Never once. That shit literally was the one thing, if you did, you were cut off. I just can't handle it.
But it was wild to me because you announced all of this on Facebook. Like, you literally gave me the playbook to make you my husband.
Because the other women thought, I'm going to be the one to change him.
But that's what I thought too.
Yeah, okay. But you didn't do that
right,
like
because
that.
you gave me the playbook. You gave all of us the playbook. You were very clear about what you wanted, what you didn't, what you liked, and what you didn't. And I was like, yay. Nobody else doing anything with information.
I'll go ahead and take the lead on this one.
I was like, okay.
And look, I mean, I didn't know this until we had really gotten together, but like, you held out for years.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. To me, you were just a really cool girl.
Yeah.
That I hook up with from time to time.
Yeah. So to back it up, I met you in person that first day, September 11th, and I went home and told everybody I'm going to marry that man. I 100% knew you were my person, and I knew you were not ready. 100%.
Yeah, and so had I heard you said that to anybody, I'd be like, she's crazy. I'm not.
Right, but I wasn't crazy, so I would never say or allude to anything like that to you.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like cautious about not texting you and not behaving that way. I knew you weren't ready, and I knew if I acted that way, I was getting cut out.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, and like kudos to you, because I never would have known, because I was so stuck. We've been peeling layers off of me, but like I was so fucked up. Like I was never gonna get with anybody if it wasn't done like that.
Right. So I figured just whatever, and I remember you would talk to me about other girls, and I would even explore things with other girls that you were hooking up with. Like it was fine, but I had protected myself, and like I was also hooking up with other people,
right? And
I was doing other.
Yeah, things. It wasn't like you were sitting there waiting. You were right. You were living your life.
I had this feeling. I had this notion. I had this desire to want to be with you, and I felt like it was there. But I also carried on and didn't become stuck on you to the point where it was going to be in disservice of me. So I eventually, in the spring, so I met you in September, whatever. And I remember you talking to me about Kelly. And then I remember talking to my friends, and I was like, oh, this is good. He'll get in a relationship with her. He'll figure some things out. He'll get some experience. Like it was fine. Right. And then, it didn't work out, and then we still talked and hooked up and hung out, and then I met somebody, and I was in a relationship, and so I wasn't hooking up with you anymore. We were still friends, we were still in contact with each other, but I was in a relationship. I actually got engaged.
Yeah. And I remember when you said, I reached out to you probably to be like, hey, what's Sarah's doing this weekend, whatever. And it'd been a while, I think. So I hit you up, and I remember you. Oh no!
It was a post on Facebook.
A post that said you're engaged, and I was like, "Bitch, what?" That's my hookup friend when I want to have hookup friends. What is going on? So I remember I messaged you, and I was like, and I don't remember what was said, but I do remember how I felt.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was angry, and I didn't know why. Not at you. I just was like, I was like, shit. I'm going to lose that person. Now, normally I was been like, oh my God, like, I got to stop this from happening. I didn't know. There was always something there that I just had always, I never was going to be with somebody like that. And I remember feeling a weird feeling of like, oh no.
Yeah. And I remember when you direct messaged me, whether it was text or on Facebook.
I remember where I was and everything.
Really?
Yeah. I was at my mother's house because I had lived there for like a few months or whatever between condo and house.
Yeah.
I remember that. If I wasn't living at my mother's, I was at my mother's living room. I think I was living there though. I think it was between when I moved from my condo.
Okay. So that was really pivotal for you.
Yeah. That was probably 6 to 7 years ago. Yeah. Had to be, because that's when
we've been together for 5. I met you 8.5.
Yeah, I know. It was 6. Weren't you?
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It was between when I moved. Anyway, I remember I was in the living room, and I remember going, what the fuck?
Yeah. And I remember when you messaged me, and I just remember feeling like it was profound for me that you said something to me. Like, I just remember feeling like, again, there were just things that you did that just felt different for me. Like, I know it was a line, but like in the beginning, before I met you, when we were talking for that week, I remember you had sent me a text and you said, I think about you more than I should.
I remember saying that as well.
All right. And I know that that's a line because I've heard it a lot.
From who?
Other people.
Oh, that wasn't a line for me.
No, but I'm saying I've heard that line from other men.
Okay.
I think about you more than I should. I've heard
Wow.
that before.
All right. That had lines, plenty of lines for girls, but that wasn't one.
But I felt that. When you said that to me, I knew I was different. I knew in that moment I was different, whether it was a line or not. I knew something. So when you had sent me that text or whatever it was, acknowledging my engagement, I remember feeling sick in my stomach. And it didn't work out, obviously. But I remember, make sure that's not Michael.
Nope, it's my mechanic.
Okay. I remember I had a conversation with him, my ex. I started to really miss you and miss our friendship. And I remember exactly where I was when I was having that conversation. I was coming up 195, right where the bend is to go to 24 to get home. I was coming right around there. And I don't remember if I was in person with him or if we were on the phone, but I remember that I was having that conversation. And I was like, I really miss my friend Scott. Like, I really miss, because we had such good conversations.
That's very funny that you say that, because when we fell in love, when I started to date you, it was the same thing. I got off the phone with you and I was like, it wasn't I missed her. I was just like, I need that there was something there that was so special that as much as I was cut off to loving anyone and being in any relationship, there was something there that it was like a magnet, kept pulling me.
Yeah. And so I remember having that conversation with him and just being like, and at that point we weren't close like that yet.
No.
But I loved being around you. I loved seeing your name come up on my phone. And I just really missed it. And so I don't remember what happened after that, but him and I broke up and separated. And I want to say that was like in September. So 3 years after meeting you. So we had been friends and been hooking up here and there for 3 years. And I remember just this overwhelming feeling of like, I just missed you and I just wanted to be with you. And I remember manifesting you in my bed, going to sleep at night thinking about you and like just wanting to be with you. And then I remember having like a conversation about with you about like how much I missed doing certain things.
You okay?
Yeah.
You're right back there right now.
Yeah, because I remember what it felt like. And we started hanging out, and I had that thing going on in my brain, and you were just super supportive, and you seemed very like genuinely like concerned and wanting to support me. And it was like October, between September and October. And at that point, I was seeing you at least once a week. We were seeing each other in person. And that just the intensity started to pick up. And then at some point it was like twice a week, and then it was 3 times a week. And it was always you. You were always asking me if I wanted to come by, if I wanted to hang out, if I wanted to go do something. This is
why I was falling for you.
Yeah. And I remember we had a conversation and you were like, oh, I kind of want to hook up with this girl, but I feel like I'm cheating on you. And we weren't together. We were dating. You didn't know we were dating, but we were dating.
Yeah, I thought we were just like hooking up a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't know what dating was.
Yeah. And you were like, there's this girl and I kind of want to hook up with her. And I was like, go ahead. No, go ahead. We're not together. Yeah, I'm hooking up with other guys, which I was.
Yep.
Go ahead. Go have sex with her. I don't care. I don't want to know about it, but like.
And I didn't. I remember you saying that, and I'm telling you, had you been like, you wouldn't because you were smart, you knew, but had you been like, that makes me feel a certain type of way, I would have pushed you away because it was too uncomfortable for me, and I would have.
And I knew that because you talked about that so openly.
I know.
Yeah. No, I know.
A lot of other women wouldn't have. And so, and like I said, you had given me and at that point I had a lot of trauma, right? I would feel guilty because a lot of reasons, but whatever. I was given the green light, if you will, and I was like, all right, cool. And I don't really want to. Right. You know what I mean? That was my problem my whole life with girls getting close. Is as soon as I started to feel like I was handcuffed, I don't want to say it like that, but there was always like, I always wanted the freedom
Right.
to do what I wanted
Right.
without anybody feeling a certain way.
Right.
And so I can remember breaking up with a girl that I was with for 3 months. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I cannot deal with girls flirting with me and me not being able to flirt back. Flirt back. It was driving me nuts. It wasn't because I wanted to flirt with them so bad. It was the fact that I couldn't do it.
Right.
Could never handle that. So I had sat her down on the couch, face to face. I just said, I don't think this is working out. She fucking was like, what? She cried. She was very sad. And she left. When she finally left, I was like, all right, got the freedom. I got the freedom to go bang as many chicks as I want.
Put your feet up and relax.
And I was like, I'm going to watch Friends.
Yeah.
And it was so confusing for me. I was like, Scott, what are we doing? And it was crazy. The desire to do that was stronger when I was.
Well, yeah, because there was a restriction.
There's a restriction.
Yeah.
And then when I got with you, I never had any of that. It was the first time ever. I just didn't have it. You know what I mean? And not to say there was times I'd look at a girl's fat ass or whatever, but there was never this pull of like, oh man, I can't do it. And then I just never, I had everything I needed here. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the main things I was like, all right, this is love. Like, this is the green light. And that's why I never really had any worries or nervousness about you. I was like, move in. And with your kids. I was like, your kids are awesome. They're fun. And who knew like that would.
I knew.
That's the answer to you. I didn't know they would become like my children.
Absolutely.
I look at them as my children. And Alyssa, I would run right now to go protect her. And she's the one I think we're not as close because I wasn't there when she grew up. I mean, the boys are with me.
Right.
Right. She isn't in it. It's definitely something that is a bummer because I wish I could have been there for her when she was a little girl and for you through that.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that. Yeah. That one still bothers me. I have to figure out a way around that one, but that one bothers me. I mean, me and Alyssa are great. She loves me. We're feeling closer and closer. But she's a 22-year-old woman. You know what I mean? And there's stuff that was not given to her from the father figure. And then it's a bummer. I couldn't have.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I'm
going to have grandkids.
I know. You're welcome.
Thank you. Because people always said, like, when I wasn't doing well too, right? We'll get into that one other episode, but when I wasn't doing well, there were all sorts of things like, oh my God, maybe the kids and the family is too much. And then I ran with that for a while. Yeah. Puke City, that was a mess.
Yeah.
But I would have people say, oh my God, all that baggage. And when I hear that now, I'm like, it's baggage. I was given all these gifts.
Well, that's what you said to me when you asked me to marry you. In the backyard, after we'd gone for a nice walk while I was recovering from my ankle surgery, Taylor Swift was on, and you asked me to slow dance with you in the backyard. We did. And while we were slow dancing, that's what you said to me. You thanked me for all of these gifts, which were my children and my grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because on a level of what do you call it? Selfish, if you want to call it. Like for me, those gifts, like those two boys, Alyssa and those two girls, they don't understand. They never will understand what their presence has done for me as a human. I have shed so many layers and become such more of a man.
Yep.
And so I must
call that part out of you for sure.
For sure. And from a selfish standpoint, like they saved my motherfucking life.
Yeah. Mine too.
Good call.
Yeah. Mine too.
Yeah. I've heard you say things like, thank God I have my kids. Yeah. And you were in really bad situations. And I get that. You know what I mean? Look how like magical that can be. The kids have no idea that they've literally saved both of our lives. just by being annoying and taking her food. But yeah, I mean, and I'm 41 years old and I get to have granddaughters.
Yeah.
There's no better. I've always heard grandparents saying that about.
You get a little emotional?
No.
Okay. Looks like your eyes are a little watery.
Nope, not yet. Just got the sniffles.
Okay, could be my contact.
No, I'm not. They are, there's nothing like being a grandparent. And the fact that I can say that and really it's true. Like I've been there for Anna since she was 0.
Yes.
And Amira.
Yeah, we quit smoking cigarettes together.
January. And she's
in January 15th.
Yeah.
And that was before we were technically in even.
That's right. We were just dating.
Again, we were already making commitments. To each other, and you still hadn't figured it out yet. But yeah, you've been there from the jump.
Yep.
With Aniston.
I mean,
she'll never not know who you are.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Now I'm getting emotional. So, yeah. They're so precious, both of them, and they're opposites, and it's like, I don't care what you say. You could feel like you got kids and there's one you maybe favor more or one that you feel a different, you always love. There's something about them two. They're complete opposites and they are both at a level 10 of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
As much as Amira is a wild woman and like, take it down a notch. And as much of Aniston can be so sensitive where it's just like, hey, and she's like, I love both of those parts of them so much.
Yeah.
And then when they really start getting annoying, we just push them right back to their parents.
Yeah.
Nothing more beautiful.
Yeah.
We're going to have sex tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of emotional energy. Well, this was really nice.
Yeah.
To be able to share this. This is almost, 2 hours?
No. Just under an hour and a half.
Dude, we got a lot covered.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely covered some good ground to what to expect, what we're doing here, who we are as individuals, and then kind of how we got together. And obviously the goal of the podcast is to continue to go deeper into those things. But this was like a nice beginning foundational session.
Nice soft opening
episode.
Yeah. And we're going to end every episode with taking our clothes off and having sex in front of the camera. Just kidding. I love you.
I love you too.
The curtain's going back up.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.